Guys, I'm excited to be here today with Jen Gottlieb with Super Connector Media. We're going to be learning all about personal branding for content creators. Jen, welcome.
Thanks, Roger. So excited to be here.
Glad to have you here. Jen, you talk a lot about playing the long game. First up, what does that mean? And what's been your long game to get here where you're speaking on stages around the world?
So a big thing that I want every single content creator to remember is everybody starts at zero. Everybody starts at square one. And I think a big issue that's happening right now is people are looking at other people's chapter 20 or chapter 100, where they've gotten after years and years and years of hard work, and they're comparing their chapter one and they're like, I could never get there. It's going to take too long, and they don't have patience. And one of my favorite American business owners, Gary Vaynerchuk, says that one of the most important qualities that an entrepreneur, brand creator, or content creator can have is patience, right? And really putting in the work every single day. And consistency when it comes to creating a profitable brand is the number one most important thing, right? If you're not consistent, then your followers aren't going to be able to trust that you're going to create something for them every single day. So they're going to go follow somebody else that is going to put out consistent content that they can count on every day. They can go learn something from. If you put out content for a couple of days and then you're like, I'm going to stop because I don't feel like it for a week, or I'm going to go on vacation, then all of those people that were so excited to learn from you are going to go somewhere else, and they're going to go find that content from somebody else. So consistency and putting in that work every single day, not only is that going to build your audience because you're going to get more and more people trusting that you're going to come out with content for them every day. They're going to share your content more. They're going to feel more connected to you because they're going to be able to trust you. But more importantly, it's going to make you more confident as well, because every single time that you stick with a commitment you made with yourself, whether that's posting on social media, or maybe that's making a sales call, or maybe that's connecting with another influencer or another content creator, every single time you do something a little bit uncomfortable and you stick with that commitment, you get a little more confident. You get a little bit better, right? You grow a little bit more. So I didn't just go from nothing to speaking on stages and coming to Brazil and being part of this amazing event. It took a lot of consistency, a lot of discomfort, a lot of patience, a lot of getting rejected and hearing no, and trying to do it again and again and again, and failing and not doing well, and then having a little bit of growth every time. And so it's consistency over time that builds confidence and that also builds your audience. So you need to be patient and you need to be consistent.
I love the idea of chapters and not comparing the chapters that you're on with other people. I always say peaks, or seeing someone on the big stage, and we tend to confuse that. We forget about the valleys that people fall in. What have been some of the valleys along the way for you, and how did you get to the next peak?
Oh, man. Well, before I was an entrepreneur, I was an actress. So I basically spent every single day of my life going into rooms and auditioning and getting rejected and hearing no after no after no after no, day after day after day after day, and getting, one big gig, which would hold me over for a while. So I was in a Broadway national tour. I played my dream role in the national tour of The Wedding Singer in America. And then right after that, I was on a show on VH1 called That Metal Show, which actually was pretty popular in Brazil. So many people watching this may have heard of it. And those were the two really big gigs that I got. But between those two gigs, I was just getting rejected again and again. But I'm so grateful for that, because that really gave me a really great relationship with rejection. And I feel like if you can become friends with rejection and understand that every single no is actually secretly a yes to something else, then you have ultimate freedom. Because the one thing that we fear the most is not necessarily rejection, but it's other people seeing us get rejected or other people seeing us fail. So if you can be like, listen, I know for sure that every time I get rejected, or every single time I fail, or every single time I mess up, it's secretly for me in some way, shape, or form. There's going to be growth. There's going to be an opportunity somewhere else. And because of this no, there is going to be a yes later down the road that is going to be so powerful for me. If you can know that and trust that, you're free. So every single no that I got in my acting career was great, because if I got those yeses, maybe I wouldn't be an entrepreneur. Because me deciding that I didn't want to be an actress anymore because of not getting it and not getting it and not getting it and getting those two really big gigs and then nothing after that was what led me to wanting to start my own thing and led me to want to speak on stages instead of saying other people's lines on stages. Now I get to say my own words on stages, and I get to pick myself instead of waiting for somebody else to pick me. But if I didn't have that experience and I didn't get all those no's and I didn't get rejected that many times along the way, I wouldn't be here. So I'm so grateful for all of it.
as you said, you have your own company now. You Super Connector Media, and you guys have helped a lot of big companies improve their PR.
Yeah.
But something I've heard you say a lot, I want to understand better, is you tell people not to hire a PR company.
Yeah.
Like, why is that? What's the story behind that?
Yeah, so we had a very big PR agency that was just acquired. So we were a PR agency, and many of the biggest brands in the world, including people that were here, Dan Fleischman, hired us to do their PR for them. And what we realized was we, at the same time as having our PR agency, we also have a mastermind and a community of entrepreneurs and business owners and content creators that we teach how to get their own PR. And our mastermind community was getting better results than our PR agency. And we have one of the top PR agencies in the world. We crushed it. We were great. But we were realizing that when the entrepreneur has the power to own the relationship with the media, so not necessarily just rent from somebody else, they can work that relationship, right? They have that power. They own it instead of renting it. And we were noticing that with that power and with that knowledge, and basically reaching out on their own behalf instead of somebody else reaching out on their behalf, they had a lot more power in the fact that that media person felt like they created a real relationship with the entrepreneur. And so they were able to leverage and amplify those media hits even more than our PR agency clients. And so we're going all in on teaching people how to do this so that they can be empowered and they can own their relationship and they can actually know the knowledge and own the knowledge on how to get themselves media. You don't need to hire a big PR agency. If you're a huge company like Hotmart and you don't have the time to, you're the CEO of Hotmart, you don't necessarily have the time to be able to go do all of that, then yes, hire a PR agency. But if you are a content creator, personal brand, entrepreneur with a small team, you want to know your own information. You want to own your relationships with the press, and they want to be able to communicate with you directly.
All right, so what would be some of the steps for a content creator who's trying to enter in the market, or even people, what happens a lot is you have someone who has a lot of knowledge, they have the ability to turn into a digital product, but they don't know the whole side of selling, marketing, and getting their name out there. The whole idea of having a personal brand is kind of lost on them.
Yeah.
How could we help someone like that? What steps would you walk someone through who's in that situation to get to the point where they're able to develop their own personal brand?
So the first thing I'm going to say might sound a little bit obvious, but it's the biggest issue that I see that content creators face when they're starting to create a personal brand is they feel like it needs to be perfect before they can start. And that is the biggest lie in the entire world. If you wait until something is perfect until you start, you're never going to start because it's never going to be perfect. There's no such thing. And in fact, Dan talked about this in his talk yesterday. People don't relate to perfection. So if you are trying to make the perfect post with the perfectly filtered image where it's so professional looking and everything is just so, people aren't going to relate to your brand. They're not going to relate to you. They're not going to want to buy your course because they're not going to feel like you're a human just like them. So the number one piece of advice I can give when you're just getting started is to do it before you feel ready, is to just start, even if it's imperfect, even if it's messy, even if you don't know what to say, or even if you don't know what to post. Just talk about something that you love. Talk about what your course is about. Talk about anything and do it on your iPhone. You don't need a professional camera. You don't need professional lighting. You don't need a filter. You don't need any of those things. Just go, just start. And we just talked about this. The more that you do it, the more confident you'll become, the more you'll figure it out, the more audience you'll build, and then the better your content will get. But you gotta just start. Stop waiting and start doing.
All right. So then where should we start? In your opinion, with digital products, what should come first? The personal brand or the product?
So I always say that nothing matters if you're not selling anything, if you're not making money, okay? So content is not king. Conversion is. Many people think that they are going to create this big audience and that's going to be like they're going to make millions of dollars off this big audience. It happens sometimes, but most of the time, you need to be able to actually make money in order to create the big audience, right? So you need to, in order to keep creating your courses and not have to have a 9-to-5 job and make this side hustle your real hustle, you have to make money. So I always say lead with sales. So lead with sales, sell your stuff, make money, and at the same time, be building your audience. And the more money that you make, the more you can actually work on building your audience. You need both things, but if you're not making money, then none of the content matters. You need to be able to support yourself. You need to be able to fuel your business. So I would be getting up in DMs. This is what we do. People are like, what? Are you crazy? I'm like, yes, I get up in the DMs and I ask people to buy my stuff. I say, do you want to come to my event? I think you should be at my event. Here's my amazing course coming up. You should really be part of it. And I connect with people. I communicate with people. Another big mistake that content creators make is they think that they can just put out a post and everyone's going to come to them. You have to communicate with your people. You have to respond to the comments. You have to make actual relationships with people instead of just posting and leaving. Like I call it ripping and dipping. Like you rip, you dip, you post and then you leave and you never respond to any of the people. You have to make actual relationships with those people. Then those people are following you. Those people took the time to engage in your content and to comment on it and to be excited about it. Holy crap, you have to love on those people. So slide into those people's DMs. Thank you so much for commenting on my post. I have this absolutely incredible course. I would love for you to try it out. In fact, I'll give you a discount. Try it out. If you can recommend 5 people to me, I'll give it to you for free. Start making money, but you're only going to make money by communicating with people in the beginning and actually personally reaching out, not thinking that you're going to make one post that's going to bring in millions of dollars. You got to actually get on the ground and start selling.
Hotmart, we believe strongly in education, entrepreneurship. On the education side of things, what's your preferred way to learn? How do you like to learn? And then how do you like to teach? What do you think is the most impactful way to teach people?
I like to learn by doing.
Okay.
So I don't like to sit and learn very much with reading and listening and stuff like that. I like to do. So if you throw me on a stage not knowing how to speak, I'm just going to do it bad, and then I'm going to learn from doing that, right? That's how I like to learn. And then the way that I like to teach is I obviously love to teach from stage, but I can teach from any kind of stage, whether that is a virtual stage. So I do lots of virtual presentations, and that could be a virtual stage just on Zoom. It could be a virtual stage just on Instagram Live or Facebook Live. It could be a virtual stage where I have an entire screen and a whole setup just like this. It could be a podcast, or it could be on a big stage like what I just did yesterday. That's how I prefer to teach. And I'm also writing a book. So right now I'm actually getting into the zone of teaching with the written word, which is kind of fun too. But I would always prefer to speak and be in front of people because I love engagement. I love it. Like the way that you're engaging with me right now is like, I could do this all day. It's about like the connection between another human. I've been performing since I was a little girl, and that connection with an audience is what gives me life.
Can you give me some tactful, because you said about getting started, I think it's great, and being on stage, being on camera. Give me a tip beyond that of how people can get a little bit better of communicating, because with digital products, you don't have the direct connection like this, but that doesn't mean you can't create it through the camera.
Yeah.
How can people get a little bit better on camera to connect with their audience?
Okay, so I've got 2 great tips for you. Number 1 is, a lot of people get stuck when they're communicating with the camera because they're like, what is this camera, this machine? It's like so foreign, and they get nervous and they get all, like discombobulated and can't speak to a camera. It's happened to me before, and I'm an actress, because it's really awkward and weird to speak to a thing that's not giving you anything back, right? But it's not really awkward and weird to speak to your friend or a client. Like you would never forget what to say if you were just talking to one of your best friends and they asked you a question. You would never forget that. So what I do is at home with my laptop, I've got a photo of one of my best friends right next to my camera. And every single time I talk into that camera, I envision that I'm talking to my best friend. Because if I'm talking to my best friend or I'm talking to one person like you, I'm not going to mess up and I'm not going to forget. Because if I was just telling you the answers to this question over a cup of coffee, or if we were just having dinner together, I wouldn't mess up. I wouldn't be nervous. So put a photo of somebody that you love right by the camera and envision talking to that one person. You're not talking to a million people. You're talking to one person that you love, that you're super comfortable around. And they asked you, they're like, I need you to tell me advice on this one thing. Give them advice. And then you're not talking to a camera anymore. That's my 1 tip. And then my 2nd tip, I learned when I was an actress, and this helps me a lot when it comes to photo shoots. So many of these content creators are going to have to do photo shoots where they take photos of themselves, and also video, and also presentations like when you get on a stage. So this is the I have a secret trick. And it makes you more engaging, and it makes people want to engage with you more when you do this. And it's a very, very, very subtle shift that everyone can make when they walk into a room that's going to make them more engaging. Okay?
I'm curious now. I got to know what this is.
It's very good.
You got me on the secret idea.
You're going to use it. So when I was an actress and I would go into an audition, this actually helped me book a lot more roles. An acting teacher told me, they were like, before you go into a room, I want you to think of a secret that you know and nobody else knows. And instead of walking into the room just normal, walk into the room knowing something that nobody else knows. And you're never going to tell them, but you know something. Did you see how my face changed? Did you see how it was a little bit intriguing? You're like, what does she know? wait, I want to know her. She's interesting. You can walk around a party like that. People will be like, I want to talk to you. You can do a photo. So photo shoot, a lot of people have like dead eyes in photo shoots, and they're like, how do I like look good in photos? You know, you're like dead, but then all of a sudden if you know a secret, you know what I mean? Like you got a little more going on, and then people will look at that photo and they'll be like, wow, I want to know more about her. She seems interesting. So it just makes you seem a little bit more interesting. So then when you go into a room or when you teach or when you go on camera, you don't have to worry about being interesting. You can focus on being interested, which you're very good at. And you said that I was very good at this too.
You are the master at this.
So I always focus on being more interested instead of being interesting. And it's selfish because it takes the pressure off me so I don't have to worry about what to say, right? But it also makes everybody that I talk to feel really important and seen and heard. And my goal is that every time I have a conversation with somebody, they feel better. That's my goal every time. And the best way to do that is to ask somebody questions and to be genuinely interested about themselves. Because what's everybody's favorite topic?
They like to talk about themselves.
Everybody's favorite topic is themselves. That's right.
That's great. Those are fantastic tips. Let's go into rapid fire here.
Okay.
Rapid fire. There's no wrong answers. It's like a brainstorm here. Let's see what secrets.
Oy.
Let's see what secrets Jen has.
Bad things come out of my mouth when I do these.
Favorite band interview while working for VH1?
Lita Ford.
The best and worst part of running a business with your husband?
Ugh. The best part is I'm with my best friend every day. And the worst part is the obvious when we're fighting and we still have to work together.
Do you follow a content calendar for posting on your own Instagram?
No. I post whenever I want every day, whenever I feel like it.
I love it. I love it. The book that helped you the most in developing your own personal brand?
My own personal brand? The book that recently helped me the most is Gary Vaynerchuk's 12 and a Half, his new book.
It's a great book. Song that gets you fired up?
Unstoppable by Sia.
Person, dead or alive, that you would pay $1 million to be in their boot camp or mastermind?
Michael Jackson.
Michael Jackson. Wow. Got me off on that one. That was a good one. Tattoo you have or would get?
I only have one tattoo.
Really?
And I always said I would never get a tattoo. That was my thing. I'm never getting a tattoo. All these women have tattoos. I'm going to be different and not have any tattoos.
It sets you apart to be
clean body.
Clean slate these days.
And I didn't want a tattoo. You're like, why did you get that tattoo? I'm like, well, I wanted this word on my body. So I was like, I want the word time on my body because it's my favorite word. It's my favorite reminder that whenever I'm in some sort of discomfort, I can trust and know that time never stops and that discomfort's not permanent. So I can lean into it because it's only temporary. And whenever I can remember that, it helps me through every single situation. So I just wanted to have the word time, that reminder on my body. So I got this itty bitty, teeny tiny little thing that's actually fading away. And I only got it last month. Time on my wrist. So I'm going to get it darkened, but that's the only tattoo I have. I told Chris that I would get a C behind my ear because he got a J on his ring finger. So I'll get that.
That's a nice couple thing. I like couple tattoos.
Yeah.
But you're stuck together for life then.
Yeah.
So, as long as you're good with that.
I mean, I'm already stuck with him for life. We have a company. We got dog. We got all the things.
But you guys seem so happy.
Yeah.
The number one emotion that you want people to feel after seeing you speak?
I want them to feel seen.
I like that. Could you go a little bit more into that?
Yeah. So I think everybody's real burning desire at the end of the day is to feel, it's a little bigger. Everyone wants to feel love, right? Mm-hmm. And I think that feeling seen by somebody is the gateway to feeling love because many people feel invisible and they don't feel seen. And not only do I want to make them feel seen by me, like I understand them and I see them, I want them to feel that I also see their true potential because I think if they feel that somebody else can see their true potential, they'll be able to see it a little bit better too. And my goal is that when they walk out of a room after I'm done speaking, they can see a version of themselves that they weren't able to see before. And I can help that happen by making them feel seen by me.
Fantastic. Here at Hotmart, we believe a lot in passion. Our thing is we help people to live their passions. 5 years from now, if we say that Jen is living her passions, what does that look like?
I have a lot of passions, and I don't think that people have just one. They don't have just one passion.
Passions. Let's go plural.
You did say passions,
yeah.
so I'm just agreeing with you, and I love that because it's not. But my number one passion in life is performing on stage. It has been since I was little, and I didn't know when I was little that performing on stage didn't necessarily mean singing other people's songs and dancing other people's moves and saying other people's lines and being a character. That's what I thought I was always going to do. Be in musicals and be in movies and be on television. And now when you connect the dots looking backwards, I realized it was always for this, but to be on stage in a different way and to inspire people and to see people and to help people see their fullest potential. And my ultimate passion in life, and I believe that you find your passion by knowing what thing you can do forever without feeling tired, without feeling exhausted, and feeling like time doesn't stop when you're doing it. You know that thing? And for me, that's being on stage. I could be on stage for probably days without sleeping or eating. It's just like the best feeling in the entire world for me. And it has been since I could walk.
Jen, thank you so much for sharing these tips, letting us know a little bit more about personal branding. I hope that everybody is able to take these tips from Jen, put them into practice. And how was it? Start before you're ready?
That's it. Start before you're ready.
Start before you're ready. Let's go, guys.